はい、皆さんおはようございます。どうも、今日は12月、えーっと、12月19日、土曜日の日本語クラスです。So, good morning everyone. Today is December 19th, Saturday, and we're gonna get started on the Japanese class. So, I hope everyone's doing well. おはようございます。はい、good morning. So for today, continuing on, we're gonna be looking at some hiragana, and then move on to some vocabularies using the hiragana that we've learned so far, and then we're gonna look at some of the coronavirus related vocabs. So that was kind of interesting. And then moving on to Bible, and if we have time, we will look at some of the Marugoto Japanese lessons. So hopefully you enjoy the lessons today. And if you have any questions, please put comment, and I will try to get to you as I'm able to see the chat messages. So remember that we looked at hiragana starting with aiueo. This is third week already, 3週目. So kakiku keiko is the one that we looked at last week. And today we'll look at sa, shi, su, se. So let's have this like S before the vowel, right? Sa. So everything starts with like left to right and then top to bottom. It never goes the other way. So sa is like left to right, top to the bottom, and then you have this little third thing. She is in one stroke. She. So I know it's hard for some of us to pronounce this. It's she. So she from top to sort of like the other side can be and then su is starting from the left to right, and then going down, up top to down with the little thing in the middle, little circle in the middle. Se is left to right, and then one, up to down, and then another one, up to down with the curve. And so is the last one. So it's one stroke, it's just a little, sort of curve and curve and curve. So, okay. So, sa, shi, su, se, so is today's hiragana. So let's look at the strokes again on YouTube video. Here we go. Read it a little bit slower again so you can see. So sa, left to right, top, and then the last stroke. Sa, shi, one stroke, top to the right. The third one, su, left to right. Here we go. And then top to bottom with the circle in the middle. And the next one is se, left to right. And top to bottom, and the third stroke from top to the right. And the last one is so, one stroke, so, left to right. It's sort of like going back and forth. So, in one stroke. Okay, so here we go, and then we will continue looking at that next week. The next part, let's close this. And so those are the 5. You already know 15, right? So I'm thinking to create sort of like a little quiz thing so you can complete and turn it in if you want a feedback. So I'll put that on the page this upcoming week because we won't have class next week. So I want you to have something to do if you would like. Okay, so some of the vocabs on using those 15 characters that we've reviewed so far. First one is sushi. Some people love it. Some people, I don't know if you've tried it. Sushi has different kind, the raw meat, raw fish or not. There are a variety of things. So there are some rolls that doesn't have rolls that don't have the raw fish. So I think you can still enjoy without wanting to explore too much into the raw fish thing. So sushi. Surely in Japanese, I think intonation is a little different. I think in English we say sushi, but in Japanese, like sushi, we call it sushi. But you see the intonation is slightly different. Sushi. That's definitely those two that we learned today. And then the second one is sekai. Excuse me. Sekai. Sekai. So se is today's hiragana. Ka is the one we learned last week. I is the one we learned the first week. Sekai. Sekai, which means the world. In the Bible verse, we'll have that word coming up. So, okay, the third word is kasa. Kasa. As you can see, casa in Japanese is umbrella. But it's like, oh, this is a Spanish word too. It's in Spanish it means a house. So don't get confused, maybe you don't. But it's nice that it's exactly the same. The pronunciation is same. Casa is casa. So here you go. And fourth word is seki. Seki. So it depends on the intonation. It's a different word. But seki is the seat. Seki is cough. But se is today's same thing. Se, right? Se is today's hiragana, and ki is the from last week. Seki or seki. And fifth one here on the right is soko. Soko also has two meanings actually. Soko is over there. Soko, asoko is also over there. But also soko means the bottom. This is the same intonation. Soko. And then some of the verb, saku. Saku. Saku is to bloom. For the flowers to bloom. Right? Saku. So hana ga saku would be like flowers blooming. The next one is suki. Suki. Suki is to like. Could be for things. You like anime ga suki, right? Or it could be person. You like person. I don't know. Something that's good. Miki-san ga suki. I like Miki-san. If that's okay. It doesn't sound like strange. Or the last word is okashi. Okashi ga suki. Okashi means snack. Okashi. Okashi. Okashi ga suki. So I like snacks. So that you can use anything, something ga suki, and you can say you like something. So suki, to like. And the last one's okashi. Okashi. It could be for sweet stuff, salty stuff, or mixed stuff. It could be any of that. Yeah, I believe so. So okashi. Okashi tabeo, like let's eat snacks or something like that. Use that all the time. So that's for our 15 hiragana for today. And the next one, so there's some vocab specifically related to coronavirus that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so since it's sort of timely, I'm going to show you this one. So the first one, we say coronavirus, but what do we say in Japanese? It's, you see, because it's foreign thing, we have in katakana, right? So we say coronavirus. Coronavirus. That's how we say it. The virus is very different, right? Coronavirus. So that's what we say for coronavirus. Right? And then the next one is how to say pandemic. There are two words. I mean, you can definitely say the way it is in Japanese way, which is different. So you can make pandemic Japanese, which becomes just the black one. Pandemic. 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 So that's how we say pandemic in Japanese. And then they also call coronaka. Coronaka. So it's like the spiral of coronavirus and stuff. So we have that as a word, but I think either one is used. I think perhaps in the news you might hear more with the coronaka, but either one would be you were able to communicate the meaning. And the next one here is mask. Mask. That's mask. It's very similar. Again, this is katakana. Mask. They also use like mouse shield, the face shield, and different things. Especially, I think the famous people use like the mouse shield. I mean, it has a different protection kind of capacity, but because people can see the facial expressions, famous people might use that in YouTube or the TV. I've seen that. And then the next one here in green is tearai. Tearai, which is hand washing. Tearai. Te is hand. So tearai is to wash hands. Arau is to wash. It could be washing anything, dishes, or arau, could be washing anything. But because you're washing hands, you say tearai. So tearai o shimashou. So please do hand washing. Tearai as hand washing, which is important, right? And then the next word is social distancing in Japanese. Some people say a social distance, which is like has a different meaning. But sometimes in Japan, English words are not used in a correct way. But social distancing, they do use that word. So the pronunciation is social distancing. It's kind of social distancing. So it's quite different, but it's in essence it's the same, right? Wording. There's not like a real change to the word itself. So it's 6 feet here, but in Japan we use centimeters, meters, and stuff. We don't use feet. So 2 meters is the guidelines. We also don't use Fahrenheit, we use Celsius. So that's also, all the metrics are sort of British. We don't use pound. So grams, we use grams, kilograms, things like that as well. So those are some of the words, and then I have one more. Let me show you here, which is this. Okay. So in Japan, every year they have this sort of a contest of what are the words of the year. Like they decide word of the year. So for that, sorry for this little thing. I was trying to do so many things. So they choose 10 words or so, and then there's like one word that's like mostly used, most popular, that represents this year it's here. This year will be 2020. So what are the words that represents 2020? So they chose sanmitsu here. Sanmitsu. That's the word that they chose. I think it came out probably like about 10 days ago. So it's like, oh, it's good to talk about this here. And sanmitsu-san, this is number 3. Mitsu is like to be crowded in some way. Mitsu, that's the word. And then in English, it's 3 C's. Because I looked it up, like, how do you actually say sanmitsu in English? So 3 C's is what they say. So what are sanmitsu? Number 1 is C. First C is closed or confined spaces, right? That's 1 C. And in Japanese, it means we say mippe, so being closed and together, closed spaces. Mippe, that's number 1. Number 2 is crowded places. That's another C, crowded places. In Japanese, it's mishu. So in the kanji, if you know, shu is to gather. So gather and be crowded. Mishu. See here, mishu is the word. You see shu, you see she, right? And then the third C is close contact settings, right? Close contact settings. That's the third C. And in Japanese, it's misetsu. So the third letter se is the one that we learned today. Misetsu, being close contact. So avoid those 3 C's with that. It's like a way to prevent, of course, wearing masks and washing over that too. But when we think about gatherings, we want it, being with other people. You want to sort of avoid these 3 because that's when class workers, like you get together with your coworkers and here there's a cluster and then it spreads everywhere in the office building or something like that. That has happened many times. So government has used this word many times to let people know to avoid these 3 C's, sanmitsu, to decrease the spread of coronavirus because it has been increasing in Japan drastically. Not like, of course, not like here. I mean, it's like 0 is different there, but they want to reduce the number of spread. So that's their year word of the year, sanmitsu. So now you're important in this. So what are the other words that came out as a potential, like potential for the year of the word? So some of the other ones are including like online something, online maru maru. So this is maru, is circle. So in Japan, they use maru maru, like something something, right? So in English, it was online access, like online meeting, online happy hour, happy hour. It's sort of like that, but in like nomikai, you call it. So everything you do it online. So you do use online something, right? So that's a word, one of the words that people use a lot this year. There's other thing called go-to campaign. We said you see go-to was literally in English. Go-to campaign. So campaign is the English, and the government, because of the pandemic, people don't want to go out, so they said there are some limited travels that they could do, and they will give you coupon if you travel, like you have reduced cost for stuff that they can do at the destination. So the government puts out this go-to campaigns to promote traveling and this betterment of economy. But there are some controversies. If the spread goes up, they can use the go-to campaign, or people from certain areas of Japan can use the go-to campaign coupons because they can travel. But this is a government money, so people are upset about. There's all kind of stuff that happened related to go-to campaign. But that was also a popular word that people used. And then third one is a little much to explain, but Abe no mask. Abe no mask. So Abe is the name of the prime minister, not current one, but the previous one who have been serving as a prime minister for many years. But he sort of stepped down because of his health issues. That's what he said. And there was this like economic campaign called Abenomics. So it's like an economic, some of the political things to for the country. So there was a thing called Abenomics. Abenomics. So when the prime minister distributed the mask to everybody, they call it Abenomask. So it sounds like similar. So playing of a word, but so that was another word that came out. So the government provided a cloth mask to like 2 cloth masks per household to all the households in Japan. So that's one of the things the government did on early pandemic era. So that's the what it's referring to. And then the last one is a Kimetsu no Yaiba. See? Kimetsu no Yaiba. So this is maybe some of you know much more than me. I don't know a lot. This is a cartoon that's like super famous right now. I think it came out the movie. There are a lot of collaboration like things, theme park with this cartoon characters and clothing and all kinds of like food. I don't know. Like there are a lot of things that this anime has created this like a social movement kind of stuff. So some of you might enjoy it or not. Hear that it's a little bit violent, so I'm not sure to show it to kids or not, but I hear that it's very popular from the kids to adults. So that's another word that was one of the potential word for the year. So here are those are the ones that I want to mention as talk about some timely stuff for Japan. So let's move on to the transfer. So I'm going to transfer this. I'm gonna have the Bible time and have we've been talking about Jesus' birth, as next week is Christmas. So I hope this will come out. Okay. So last week we talked about Mary and how she sort of like looked at Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, Gabriel came to Mary and said, you're gonna have you're gonna birth God's son. And like, oh my gosh. And then she said in faith that if you say so, if it's God's will, let that be. So she was surprised but accepted what's happening to her. So today we have this. I use this Bible, Jesus Bible story as a basis because I have one in Japanese here. You see Japanese. And then I also have one in Spanish and English that's bilingual. It's very crowded, but it's there. So today we have this, maybe some of you have seen this baby Jesus with Mary and Joseph. So Mary is Maria, right? And then Joseph is Joseph, the father. And Jesus, this one I think called yes. So some people call Jesus the way it is in English, but commonly Jesus is called Iesu. Yes, Sama. Sama is like the word for respect, right? So Iesu. Yes, Kiristo. That's how we can say it like that. So we were looking at this. We want to look at this scene today. And so what it says in English here, which I will look at some in Japanese in a moment, but in there, in the stable, amongst the chickens and donkeys and the cows, in the quiet of the night, God gave the world his wonderful gift. The baby that would change the world was born, his baby son. Mary and Joseph wrapped him up to keep him warm. They made a soft bed of straw and used the animals feeding through as his cradle. As they gazed in wonder at God's great gift, wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger. Mary and Joseph named him Jesus, Emmanuel, which means God has come to live with us, because of course he had. So that's the scene. And the piece that I wrote here on the screen is the piece that the world, so God gave the world his wonderful gift, his baby son, the baby that changed the world. Okay, so the first two lines, let's read. この世界を変えるほどの一人の赤ちゃんが生まれたのだ。神様の一人息子が。So that's what I need to translate it again. この世界を変えるほどの一人の赤ちゃんが生まれたのだ。神様の一人息子が。So that's the first two lines. So, この is this. この世界. Remember I mentioned 世界 earlier? 世界 is the world. Okay? So, この世界, this world, を is a connecting word. 変える is to change. ほどの, like, to even change this world. 一人 is 一人, one person. 一人の赤ちゃんが、一人 is one person, 赤ちゃん is a baby, 赤ちゃん. And I realized why we call 赤ちゃん, because 赤 means the color red. It's like, why do we call it color red? It's a kanji is even that too. But when my son was born, he was red, so I was like, oh, this is why I call 赤ちゃん. You know, just the first day, but it's like kind of like an aha moment there. So, 一人の赤ちゃんが生まれたのだ。生まれる is to be born, right? So, 神様 is God. 神様の it's a possessive, right? 一人 is the one, right? 一人息子が。息子 is son. 娘 is daughter. 息子 is son, right? So, a one and only son, right? So this world, bueno, right? It's a different order in English, but it's better to say one baby, 一人の赤ちゃんが生まれた, right? To be born. This baby is to change this world, to even to change this world. この世界を変えるほどの、right? 神様の the God's only son. 神様の一人息子が. So that's the first part. And then as they were looking at the baby, like that. So this one is in Spanish and English. This is I think easier to get. Japanese one, I'm not sure if you can get it on Amazon, but for sure the English and Spanish one you can. But maybe you can get some Japanese book. But the third and fourth line. So, 神様, remember, 神様 is God, right? 神様からの, から is like God, from God. こんなに such a 素晴らしい is like wonderful, 素晴らしい贈り物 is a gift. 贈り物 we can also call gift. This case they call it 贈り物, but people understand if you say gift. 贈り物今まさに今 is now 今まさに like right now 目にしている目 is 目、eyes son or sister 目にしている so God's such a wonderful gift they're now looking at, right? 目にしている is to look at という不思議さに不思議 I think we looked at it last week like wonder 不思議さに the wonder of 不思議さに心を奪われて心 is heart, right? Heart 奪われる is like the stolen, the heart stolen. So then we're looking at God's wonderful, such a wonderful gift. You know, these people animals and people, like there were shepherds there, Mary, Joseph, and all these animals. They're all, their hearts are stolen to be able to see this wonder out in front of their eyes. And that's what this 神様からのこんなに素晴らしい贈り物を今まさに目にしているという不思議さに心を奪われて。So a little long, but like maybe some words, that would be okay. Then what did Mary and Joseph do? So Maria to is end, right? Maria, Mary, to Joseph, Joseph はこの子、この is this, and 子 is a child. この子をイエスと名付ける。イエス is Jesus, right? 名付ける is to name him Jesus. So Mary and Joseph named this child Jesus. Immanuel. Immanuel is Emmanuel. 神様は, so this is a kanji for 神, but I try to put it in hiragana so it's easier for you to read. 神様は, so God, right? 神様 is God. 神様は私たちと、私 is I, 私たち is us. 私たちと一緒におられます。一緒 is together, and おられる is to be, but sort of respecting the person who's there with us. So to be. So Emmanuel, 神様, which means 神様は the God is with us. So that's what it means. Okay? Emmanuel, 神様は私たちと一緒におられます。So that's what Jesus means. So that's just what it's about. It wasn't a manger, it wasn't like a barn. It's not anything fancy. It's very it's a place which was cold. It's a very vulnerable situation that he came as a baby to this earth for us persons. So it's a wonderful time of the year to remember. I mean, some history says that I think as a matter of fact, like people say that Jesus wasn't born in December, but really, it really doesn't matter. Like the point to me is to remember his birth and what he has done for us, and sort of like think and thank him. I mean, to do that every day, but I think especially it's a great time of the year to especially think about it and talk about it. So this one is from this book. Let's do this book. But in the Old Testament, in Isaiah, I think, okay, it is here. So like 700 years before Jesus was born, there was already a prophecy that came to us about Jesus from Prophet Isaiah. So this is from directly from the website, Japanese website of the Bible verses, which you can also have access to. And you can see on the second line, highlighted second line, Immanuel here, you can see that Immanuel is a person. 神が私たちと共にいる. So God is with us. There will be a child whose name is Emmanuel, and Emmanuel is the name that came from Gabriel, right? Angel Gabriel. Gabriel told Mary to name him Jesus. It means Emmanuel. So long time ago, where these people never met each other, because God has all the plans in place. He already said that Jesus will be born through on this earth 700 years later. I mean, so in English it says Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. He will be eating food and honey. Okay, so yeah, so that's the one that Isaiah 7:14. The Lord himself will give you a sign. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. God's with us. So that's where the Old Testament comes from, a long time before Jesus. So I wanted to share that with you, and I hope that you will remember and think about this birth of Jesus at this time of the year. So let's see. So far in Marugoto, we've been looking at lesson 1 and 2, and last week we looked at people's names, some of the classroom words, and then how we call country name, people name, and talked about using sort of like a name tag and be able to write the name and country. So yeah, I'm here. So we looked at that, and then today just wanted to give you a heads up. I'm charging. I'm going to get the charger. And so, but okay, here. Good. Everything's here. It's a little cold here today, so ちょっと寒いから。And then we called some like how do we address people? We talked about that. That's what I was talking about. You might use different words depending on you're younger or older or how close your relationship with that person. So this one, I wanted to comment about this. So the hiragana that there is watashi. Watashi is the word that refers to I. But there are many words that when you can refer yourself that you might heard, like boku, ore, might heard in, especially if you like manga. Boku is usually, I think of it like a male, older male person. Ore is for male. You can, if you else could use it, but it sounds a little rough. So, but watashi is a neutral, gender neutral term, fairly formal. So if you're not sure, if you just want to be like, okay, I just want to remember one thing, I would say watashi, because then you don't go wrong. I think it's better to be more polite than less polite, especially in Japan. Considering that you might be talking to somebody, in the same age, which might sound too formal, but then you might be talking to people older than you, or higher position than you, or whatever. So then you don't want to go wrong. You don't want them to think like you don't know how to speak or something like that. So watashi would be a term, very good, safe term. So I would use that. And so that's good. And then lesson 3 and 4, be able to introduce yourself, give a sample self-introduction. 自分のことを簡単に話します。自分のことを簡単に話します。Okay, so, and then be able to read a business card. 名詞を読みます。名詞を読みます。So this is like how to introduce yourself. どうぞよろしく is like nice to meet you. That's a よろしく is a very Japanese word, right? So it doesn't have a direct translation, but you use it. When you say nice to meet you, you also say like よろしくお願いします。And then lesson 4, you will talk about your family. How family composition, brothers and sisters, pets, and things. Okay, so どうぞよろしく have this. So I won't do this audio thing today. So maybe do it next time, but I'm gonna look at the number 2 on the bottom. So you can, when you introduce yourself, you can see here, it's good that it has the hiragana, romaji written down there. So, はじめまして. Remember we looked at she today? はじめまして. Nice to meet you. Yamada desu. Yamada is the name of the person, last name, right? So Yamada desu, this is part of Yamada. So my name is Matsuda. So Matsuda desu. You can also say your first name, like Monika desu, Yui desu. You can say that. That's okay. It depends on the context. If it's a classmates and things, like you can say your first name, right? はじめまして。Matsuda desu. Yamada desu. And this part, we say, ano is like, excuse me, お名前は? お名前は? So we looked at O before, we looked at it, right? So we looked at a and u here. お名前は? Excuse me, what is your name? お名前は? It's a very short way of saying your name. 名前 is name, or is to make it like, because of your name, I'm respecting the name. So what is your name? お名前は? So it's like you want to go up a little bit, so it sounds like a question. お名前は? So this person's name is One. One this. So Matsuda this could be that. But this, if you put the sort of, because it's a first time, just be polite. This at the end would be the best to put. So, and then the other person, the person who asked the name said, One san desu ne. San, right? San is sort of the respectful, but not super, like, just good, respectful word. One san desu ne. あるくんだ. So I call him Aru-kun. Aru-kun. Aru-chan is okay. Aru-kun. Aru-kun. So, ne. Middle one's okay. And then, one san desu ne. どうぞよろしく. どうぞよろしく. So that's a word that, like, it's not like you want to take care of me, but you really don't. But like, Aru-kun. Nice to meet you. Extension of a nice to meet you. Maybe that would be the way. どうぞよろしく. Or to make it more formal, you can say どうぞよろしく. お願いします. どうぞよろしく. お願いします. That's okay. And then the other person, one son will say どうぞよろしく. So one son also said nice to meet you too. So Aru has been repeating little words, and regardless of language, he just said repeat it in English, right? But he repeats in Spanish and Japanese as well. So yes, I'm kind of seeing like how we acquire pronunciation and explore. So it's interesting to see the language learning process, I guess. So, but if you didn't hear well what the person said, you can use this one in the middle here with the blue boxes with a question mark here. It's like, oh, I didn't understand. すみません. I'm sorry. もう一度. すみません. Excuse me. I'm sorry. もう一度. もう一度. 1 is 1. No, it's again. Please repeat. もう一度お願いします. You can say that to make it quieter. もう一度. すみません. もう一度. And the person say 1 です. Or 松田です. Whatever it is. And does this. And then you can say, oh, ワンさんですね. ワンさんですね. Okay. I understand. So, you can say it like that as well. So you can see what the, maybe nice to plug in your name and be able to practice meeting people. Okay? So this one has some different exercises. It's still all good time, but there are 5 countries. This one, A is ドイツ. This is Germany. B, Egypt. So here, I guess you might be able to figure out the location, but it's Egypt, and also the flag. And then this one, C, is Australia. Right? And then D is Hankook. South Korea. And then E is 中国. So, and then 日本 is a word that you might hear in Japanese about Japan. So those are the countries that maybe these have the audio right now. So that's why I have this. And let's see, then it's number 3. So number 3 says どちらから? So it's a short form of where you come from. どちらから来ましたか will be like the formal. どちらから来ましたか where you come from. どちらから どちら is like where, but formal way どちらから from where. It's basically from where is this song. So that's why like formally where you come from, but come from is like eliminated. And then this person say 中国です. Remember what 中国 is? 中国 is China, right? So 中国です. そうですか. Okay. So you can use it for anything. It doesn't have to be this context. So, and then the next person said 中国語できますか? 中国語できますか? So, 語 中国 is China, right? And then 語, if you put 語 at the end, 語 means language. So the Chinese is 中国語. 中国語できますか? And you can answer a certain way with a smile to not. はい、できます. はい、できます. はい is yes. できます is I can. はい、できます. The middle one. はい、少しできます. はい、yes. 少し is ちょっと. You might heard the word ちょっと as well. Little bit, right? I can speak a little bit. できる is can do. はい、少しできます. And a little bit. Or an end. You can say both or one or the other. 勉強中です. 勉強中です. I'm studying. 勉強中です. And the third one, いいえ、できません. いいえ、できません. いいえ is no in Japanese formal. いいえ、yes. できません. できません is the negative form of できます. できません. せん is negative. So, いいえ、できません. So you can plug in other language. どちらから？エルサルバドルです。エルサルバドルです。そうですか。Okay, let's see. スペイン語できますか？スペイン語できますか？ So スペイン語 is Spanish. Spain, because I think Spanish comes from Spain. In Japanese, it's Spain 語 that is on it, right? So スペイン語できますか? So that's the word. Or you can eliminate the first three. You can say 日本語できますか? 日本語できますか? So that's can you it literally means can you do Japanese, but can you speak or understand like all that together, right? So 日本語できますか? Able to do Japanese, but you understand people understand that they do that. Can you speak and understand Japanese, right? So you can say はいできます or はい少しできます, right? So that's like はい少しできます。勉強中です。勉強中です。Or, well, I mean, if you're understanding and saying いいえできません, right? いいえできません, but then you answer in Japanese, so you obviously you can do a little bit. So I think you can be, you don't have to be too humble. I mean, Japanese is very humble. So it's like even though you speak English, they're like, no, I don't. But then, you talk to them in English. So you can, I think, say, because you're all learning, you can say, はい、少しできます。はい、少しできます。勉強中です。I think that's okay to say. 勉強中です。So that's that. And then other language. So the Portuguese is ポルトガル語. So it's ポルトガル is a Portugal. ポルトガル語 is a language, right? So ポルトガル語できますか? はい、少しできますね。Where else are you from? 英語 is English. 英語できますか? So you can ask Japanese people, 英語できますか? And then if everyone wants to be like, oh, いいえできません or はい、少しできます maybe like that, and maybe that would be good. 英語できますか? 英語できますか? So if it's Arabic, it's アラビア語. So it, so it has some curveballs, but フランス語 is French. So the go, putting go after the country name basically works for that language piece. So what we have. So the next week, we won't have the class next week. We'll have the Christmas break, but I'm gonna make a little mini quiz for hiragana, and then distribute it to you through Facebook. And then, so in the beginning of the year, so like in Japan, people have this like a New resolution each year. You have this new thing you want to achieve right before the year. Probably do the same here in the US, right? But I've done it. So I think you fresh start on January 2nd, I believe. Like that's it. Double check. Yeah, January 2nd, 1月2日。1月2日土曜日。January 2nd, Saturday, we'll have a class again. Fresh start. Maybe one of your New Year's resolution is to 日本語を勉強する。日本語をもっと話せるように。To be able to speak Japanese or to master Japanese, wherever you are. ひらがなを勉強する。To study ひらがな、カタカナ。Any of that, I think it's good to have a illustration with little Japanese into it, along with other things that you would like to do for the year 2021. So 2021 is 2021年, right? 2000 is 2000, and 21. 20 is 20, and 1 is 1, right? 2021年, so it's year 2021. 2021年、新年の抱負 is a New Year's resolution. 新年の抱負。That's I record a movie, and someone you can share with us what your New Year's resolution will be next year. But we'll use some audio material next year for the lesson 3. So sort of looking at what we've looked at today, and then integrate the audio next time to be able to listen from this materials audio quiz. I think there's sort of quiz format. So we will look at that next time, and any questions in the meantime, please let me know. We have Bible study in 5 minutes through Facebook Live, or you can actually join Zoom if you'd like. But so we'll have that. We'll be talking about Christmas. Christmas is a Japanese word for Christmas. Christmas. So we'll talk about Christmas. クリスマスについてお話しします。私じゃなくて、サウジが話しますね。I think we also have a candlelight service on 24th by Zoom. So stay tuned. In the evening, we'll be confirming the time and let you know. So I hope you have a great Christmas, New Year's, and everything else that you're celebrating. See you next year or right shortly after on the Bible study. So thank you for watching, joining, and studying, and we'll keep going and learn more. Alright.